Yeah, well done, mate. Well done. Hello. Hope you're doing alright. I'm just gonna open up chat on the computer as well. Okay, how is the lighting, by the way, for you? Is it too bright or can you see quite well? A little bright. Okay, let me try to play with it and I'll see if I can maybe turn this lamp away from it a little bit just so it's not too much. Can't tell. Is it any better? Or is it still too bright? Or maybe I should raise it a bit higher. Okay, we are back. Now, once again, hoping that no lag is gonna happen. We'll continue. I'm actually nearly done on that side this time for sure. I just haven't had the time during the week to do it because I was busy sorting out other things. But we'll try to see if we can get it to a finish. And I am predicting and hoping that by next week at least we're gonna be doing the tail. I really hope so. So how's everybody doing? As you can see, I removed the piles of documents from here, so now it's just, well, yeah, they're reflecting light a little bit, unfortunately, but they're just the boxes. Let me just maybe turn this towards me a little bit, like so, and further away as far as I can take it. Yeah, there we go. All right. Right, I'm gonna open up the window a bit as well because it's really hot in here. This means that once planes start flying, you're gonna be hearing it a bit louder than usual, but at least I'm not gonna be dead of suffocation. All right. Oh well, what of it anyway? There's nothing there's nothing to do in the Isle at this point. Not for me anyway. I personally couldn't care less anymore about this game. Let's just say my fires have burnt out as far as this game's concerned. I'm now pretty much no longer interested in whatever it is that it's got to offer because it's kind of run its course already. So whatever they're introducing now, it's just kind of, yeah, whatever. So, but hey, don't let me talk you out of playing. That's not what I'm doing here. You can play it as long as you like, man. If you like playing it, by all means play it. So, yeah, I've also, what I've done is I've smoothed these things here, so it's not, you know, kind of sharp ribbed, but it's more kind of flat ribbed area. So it's got some texture in it, and at the same time it's got, you know, the necessary kind of flatness to represent the smooth texture of the keratin. Yeah, that's basically what I am, where I'm at as well. I know some people, even Iron I believe still plays it, but I just, nah, I just gave up pretty much at this point. So, yeah, I was gonna say that Maurice is gonna have to go through some more stuff on the body, which I haven't had the chance to do during the week because I had lots of other errands to run. I had lots of people over here as well. It was a bit of a mess, but it all worked out fine and good. But it means it left me slightly out of my regular working schedule that I would have generally stuck with. And also, I believe I have already given you the news that yes, I've successfully been funded to get some silicone rubber, which is, by the way, stacked in bags like this. That's the exact one I'm actually using. That's a single unit, and very good silicone rubber overall. I have produced some casts of Velociraptor. Now I needed to do some modifications on a mold for the Protoceratops. I have left the casting in my shed right now, so I will have to demold it before I hit the bed, or maybe I will demold it tomorrow morning. So whichever one of these I will have to do it, so I can check whether or not the casting has turned out alright. And when I find out if everything's alright, I will then make a base for it, and that will be the final step. And you will be seeing me potentially in one of these live streams as well, or maybe just any other video, maybe, I don't know what else I'm gonna do with it, maybe a live stream. And we're gonna be painting that for my customer. And well, he's both a customer because he paid for one of my pieces already, but I would say sponsored to be more correct, because this one I'm giving it to him as a, you know, as a reward for sponsoring my expenses for making molds. And there's obviously going to be more stuff according to whatever it is that he chooses at that point. That's what I'm going to be making from the silicone. So we're still going to be discussing it, but there's a very high chance that the Stegosaurus will be made as soon as it gets baked and everything. And of course, you have already seen it, but I'm gonna show you again this Echinocephalus. I'm not gonna, okay, I'll take out a few pieces just like so. I'm not gonna take out the tail because I just don't want it to be a bit of a mess, but yeah. So this is already good to go for a kit, so the mold can be done for that already. And he wants that as well. And so we will do it. We will do it. So Echinocephalus might be another one of the coming soon pieces. Oh, it shows up as gaming category. That's very weird. I tell you what I'll do. I'll try to see once I finish this. I am gonna try to. I don't know if I can edit it right now. Let me know in the comments actually right now. Can I edit it as I'm streaming, or do I have to edit it once it gets uploaded maybe then? And before I start streaming perhaps, then next time I have to change the category. Because it's not, well, obviously it's not gaming, it was by mistake, because previously I used to stream when I was doing the games, you know, playthroughs, but since I'm not doing it, so it needs to be changed. Yeah, I got a monitor in front of me, but I think because the way it works right now is that I'm streaming from my phone, but it kind of you know, shows me as if I'm the viewer on my computer. So from my PC, it's like I'm the viewer rather than an actual, you know, streamer, if that makes sense. Open a new tab. Okay. Let me try that. Hold on a second. Well, I mean, it's paleontology, paleoart, dinosaurs, prehistoric things. You can call it any of those things, really. A combination of these things, I guess. Yeah, I can't find any options to change the category right now, so I may have to do that later or do the next stream properly. No, we're not gonna call it a nerd conference or whatever. I mean, we are kind of nerds in a sense, but I don't like to be labeled as if it's a group kind of mentality thinking, just people who have a common interest, I guess. I prefer to just specifically stick by the interest rather than labeling groups in that sort of manner. So, in any case, I couldn't find the option, so I'll have to probably either do that later or before the next stream I will be changing the options. So, right. Anyway, while I'm gonna be having this tea, hopefully I don't spill it everywhere on my carpet or myself. So let's resume sculpting. Where were we? Right here. So the stego is gonna turn around a little bit. And I need to grab a bit of clay. And let's get back to work. Just want to soften it up as much as possible, so it's just really nice and easy. Okay, I think that's good enough. Let's proceed. Just see what if there's anything missing in any of the details. I think we're fine here. Okay, let's move on to this area then. So there's like some detail here on a plate here that's kind of transitional area. So I've got only one last plate here to do on this side, and then we're gonna do the bigger flat kind of scales on the sides as well here. And after that, the torso will be completed. And if we manage to, maybe we might even start the tail today actually, if we're lucky. But of course, before we do that, we'll need to see how am I gonna get the plates fitted on that tail. But I think it should be fine. I see a big problem with it, to be honest. There's definitely gonna be a way to make sure that these wires that support the structure will be able to sit right inside there. So it should be fine. And also, I'm not gonna say what it is right now, so like you're welcome to try and guess, but I wouldn't suggest not waste the time on or anything on it. But I've got something interesting for you, since lately I've been staying away from any of the so-called quote-unquote controversy. But as of now, yeah, I think it's time to call out people on their nonsense, idiotic behavior once again and set the matter straight. And I think from this point on, I will be calling people out on this kind of crap if I see that somebody is talking nonsense about me or anybody that I know out there, because I'm just getting to the point where I'm just really tired of certain people just talking nonsense every single time they get an opportunity to do so, because apparently they think that it's relevant, and I'm gonna prove them that it's not. But it's not gonna happen here, it's not gonna be here, and not tonight. Tonight we're focusing on this. In a few days or so, maybe even in a day, I'll make another video. I'll try to make it a short video, so it will be a quick one. But yeah, gonna start calling people out for real on certain aspects. I prefer to stay away, but when it gets to certain point and with certain people, again, I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, it just needs to be called out and taken from there. Of course, if they choose to object to whatever criticism I provide, they're welcome to come here and debate me anytime they want. Not at the time when I'm away from the computer or sleeping though, because, you know, obvious reasons. But when I'm here streaming, or if they have time and they want to hit me up on Skype, I'm definitely gonna let them do it if they want to. And we can talk. But it's gonna get recorded live, everybody's gonna see it, no matter what the result or outcome will be. No, it's Nolan, it's basically like, again, I gave no specifics because I wanted to be a bit of a surprise for you at this point, but yeah, I'm gonna be calling out certain individuals on their idiotic nonsense that they're spewing out there, and because, you know, I don't take kindly to people trying to smear my reputation, and I'm gonna make it known once more that I don't let this fly. And that means that whoever and however many times, especially specific people, if they try to smear my reputation, I'm going to just as well respond to it. That doesn't mean I have to tell them to stop talking. They're free to talk about me whatever they want. In that case, I'm going to be responding and destroying their arguments. And I have no problem doing that, as you've seen me do so far. And as I say before, in these debates or these kind of arguments, I practically see no scenario where I lose. Because if they turn out to be right, I own my words, okay? I will own up to it. I'll just say you were right, I was wrong. Even if it's the worst case scenario and they prove every single point about me that is true, I will own up to it, and I got nothing to lose about that. I'm perfectly content with whatever outcome there is. They, on the other hand, have a lot more to lose in that case if they lose the debate, which they probably would. Yeah, DeviantArt is generally a toxic place, unfortunately. It has some really nice people in it. Some people I know of, some people are also good friends of mine. But unfortunately, yeah, it's very toxic and it's turned into a real bad place, and it's particularly uncomfortable to navigate. And I mean, of course, if you really know it very well, that's fine. But I personally am not a fan of it. I would prefer something else if there was a better alternative. I mean, ArtStation is more like CGI, isn't it? Or is it kind of good for all sorts of artwork? What do you guys reckon? Is ArtStation good for this kind of stuff as well? Yeah, sorry, the tea. It's gonna get cold. Scorpio, maybe if you want, what I can do is I can refer you to the Stegosaurus skin diagram that Josh has done. It's already been out there. I believe he's already posted the final up-to-date version of it. So that basically shows all of the published, or I believe it was all published anyway. I need to double check, but I think it was published. It's in my. It's also featured in the interview with Jeffrey, this the guy from the museum in Utah, in Dinosaur Park Museum in Utah. So we bring that skin diagram as well. If it comes up, it should be like on a yellow kind of background. If you find it, feel free to post the link here as well, let people see it as well in case they haven't. But I don't know if it's actually been uploaded much anywhere, so I mean, I would have to probably make a video on it actually if you want. It might be just a quick video just to show you, you know, more detailed look at what it features and what it shows, etc. If you cannot find it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do a video in the next few days. Oh, dude, painting is too early. Trust me, it's just way too early, unfortunately. I have to finish this, and as I said in the beginning of the stream, I had a busy week, and I really haven't had time to finish the body itself. That's why we're not doing the tail tonight. Probably not. Don't expect to, but we might be able to still fit it in, but I don't think we're gonna make it tonight, because last time when I was here I was expecting the full week to be available, but of course it didn't work out that way because I had lots of people coming over and relatives, and well, it was my dad and grandma and a few other people that were around. There were lots of birthday celebrations once in a row, both my brother and my mom, and a few other things there and then, so lots of things to do with the family stuff, and just didn't have the time to really sit down and finish this one up. Yeah, hold on a second, let me approve the image. Let me see what it is. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That's exactly the right one. I don't think I have yet. I will need to take a look. I actually recently watched his video on Allosaurus when he was molding it, but I haven't seen his Daspletosaurus. I only had a chance to watch the Allosaurus one, then I basically was distracted by something else. I don't remember what that was. Sometimes I get to watch like one video there, one video here, and then I have to go away, do something else, and etc. Right, okay. That's lovely. And one more here. Yeah, I don't think it's been uploaded because Josh doesn't use DeviantArt. He hates that place. He despises it with all its passion. His passion, I mean. And for the right reasons as well, I guess. I can totally understand and I approve personally. But that said, he hasn't, obviously that means he hasn't posted it, and there was nobody else that I know of who would have posted it on his behalf in any way. So do you still want me to do the video anyway, or on this stegosaurid skin diagram, or are you happy with the image that you found? Stegosaur feather drawing, I've seen something out there, but whatever it was, I don't want to see it again, and if there's something else, I don't want to see it either. I'm not a fan of those nonsense things. I mean, let's just say not my kind of fantasy. I think one of the to-do list one of the things on my to-do list should be, and I need to remember to do it definitely, is to find a way to create a Discord page, well, like a tab or something, where you guys can all go in and chat when I'm not online, or when, you know, I haven't made a video, and you can just basically, you know, just talk about stuff, post things, whatever, just communicate. Invite maybe more people in if you have anyone, you know, that might be interested in this stuff. Let our empire grow and start conquering the world. Yeah, I know I don't want to. That's why I'm just kind of, nah, I'm staying away from this. Or I'm gonna get nightmares ever since. Yeah, the helmet is a plastic, like a kid's sort of replica, you could say. But yeah, it's surprisingly realistic on the camera, isn't it? Kind of. Um, oh crap, yeah. Phones in the toilet, that's nice, well done. Oh man, I don't envy you. Well, I definitely don't envy the phone that ended up in the toilet. I sure as hell would not want to be in that place. Ah, the goblet. Yeah, that's. I don't remember. I think I got it from a Leeds Castle souvenir shop, if I remember correctly. I definitely got this one from there. I got my knight caricature figurine from there as well. As a matter of fact, we can put it here as well. And I think the helmet came from that as well. Sorry if I'm being silent, I'm just looking at the comments. Um, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Optimus Prime. Sorry, mate, I don't understand what you're referring to. It's a bit confusing. Sorry, mate. um, yeah, I can do a video about just pointing out which dinosaurs or dinosaur groups, at least, based on a few, at least certain examples, are known to show specific types of filaments, and can try to explain which ones could be equivalent to what. And yeah, that's possible, for sure. It will take some time because I'll need to dig up all the stuff that that I've seen out there, and just to make sure I don't really miss a whole lot. But yeah, for sure we can do that. That's not gonna be an issue. Also, how do you guys like the new series of the videos that I have introduced with the, looking at, making up list of my top picks from, model kits, figurines, and all of that stuff? Is that something that's interesting for you as well? Oh, don't even mention it. I would just start using every swearing word I know from the dictionary, and I would start breaking things. Like, I would. This place, all you see here, it would just get trashed and destroyed out of rage. Seriously. I'm generally, as you noticed, I'm kind of more composed, but dude, if I'm gonna start raging, like I would just go insane. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, exaggerations do happen quite a lot, unfortunately, in both sides of the spectrum when it comes to representing certain evidence and also when it comes specifically to sizes. I mean, we surely know that a lot about the large carcharodontosaurid theropods. They have been largely exaggerated. I still got a video somewhere on my old Giganotosaurus from Primeval Creature Review, and somebody just said, Giganotosaurus was bigger than T-Rex. I chose not to respond to it, but I was like, okay, whatever you say. Just thinking to myself, like, really? I just made an entire video on it, and you just basically gonna say this. Yeah. It's just another one of those typical NPC kind of responses, basically. No context, nothing, just pure trolling. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to scroll up a little bit because I need to find a way to extend the chat messages a little bit because they get buried a lot. So let me just quickly see. Okay, well, if you want, we can do a comment reading later. Do you want me to do that? Because I suspect that after the video that I plan to produce in the nearest future, within the next few days hopefully, that's gonna make a lot of people go, oh, they're gonna go so NPC ballistic. So that's gonna be very entertaining, yeah. I'm definitely thinking that we're gonna have some fun with that. So once we get that done, instead of obviously responding to them in the comments, maybe it's, you know, myself, I mean, I could make a video actually replying to comments individually and just laughing at them, you know, so it's gonna be fun. If you want me to do that, definitely, because we've never actually done this before. We haven't responded to comments before on the video, so it's gonna be interesting. Especially after the video I'm planning, that's definitely gonna have so many people triggered. I mean, we know from experience that these kind of videos get people triggered, so of course, you know, although I try to stay away from these kind of things for as long as possible, just not to lose my focus on doing my work, but, you know, I just wouldn't be me if I didn't, you know, toss some gunpowder, you know, into the fire. Okay, cool. Yeah, comments reading is gonna be fun. We'll make it happen. Well, yeah, I mean, Beaver, that's a thing. I mean, I like his content overall, especially his Assassin's Creed Odyssey gameplay. That's just like makes me laugh so many times, especially when he does the random Spartan kick around the town, which I find absolutely awesome. But when it comes to dinosaurs, as soon as he makes a comment about dinosaur, about this and this and this, and I just really feel like face palming myself to death, realizing that he has like over 1 million or whatever subscribers, and many of them are basically watching this and are gonna be walking out of that thinking that very thing unless they know better already. But I tell you what, if Beaver would ever agree to come to the channel and just have a discussion, as in like, you know, talk about just how he's, you know, exchange our experiences, maybe talk, discuss all the things dinosaur related, of how we both started in this whole thing, and maybe I could ask him what he knows about certain things, I could share some of my knowledge, I could ask, you know, him to share about how he got into the gaming and specifically dinosaur games, what were his favorites and all of that stuff, you know, just have a really nice friendly discussion. I'm pretty sure it would be a mutually beneficial experience for, specifically for learning purposes and just both for entertainment and learning, I think. So if I'm ever gonna be able to reach him, or if this somehow reaches him, then yeah, it would be really nice to have him as a guest on the channel. I would love to actually do something like that, or maybe do an interview with him or something of sort. Any topical videos? What do you mean topical? I don't understand what that means. I'm sorry. Um, I mean, you can post it in the comments when we post, you know, when the stream finishes. Just post a link in the comments once the video gets uploaded, and I'll check it out later. I don't want to waste time on it right now. Well, that's because that's a lot of people getting triggered over it, and just shows you how many NPCs are out there with the typical NPC responses. And yes, I use the word NPC a lot because I just really want this to be rubbed in a little bit more to those NPCs who might be watching this. Because you brought this on yourself, guys. Not you guys, but I mean the NPCs. And as usual, it's a typical problem when people just like to take things out of context and start bitching about it, basically. We already know people like that, many people like that out there, many. So, don't think it should be at all surprising. But hey, I don't mind pissing people off. It's fun. Yeah, like, not my favorite brand personally. As you noticed, I probably haven't even included a single figurine in my favorites when I was doing a figurine video. But for the model kits, you might actually be surprised. But most of my kits, I will try to see if I can keep the prices relatively low, just so more people can actually get their hands on them. Like, I actually want as many people as possible to be able to acquire them, but of course I have to be realistic there because, you know, we gotta pay bills and we gotta eat and we gotta do other things which involves money, unfortunately. So you will find that it won't probably be as expensive as many other kits that I've seen out there. Like, it's definitely gonna be cheaper than some of the 1 to 20 scale kits that I've seen, at least that I've shown you or have mentioned in my videos, but I personally would not even consider getting them either because they're just too expensive. But mine ones, the ones I'm making, I can assure, at least relatively when it comes to scale versus, you know, price ratio, you will not find them to be too expensive for a 1 to 10 scale. Doesn't mean they're still gonna be cheap, of course not, but they're, you know, my Oviraptor costs £37 sterling, and that's probably at the moment gonna be my cheapest kit from the ones that are kind of coming up soon or released already. Velociraptor versus Protoceratops is definitely gonna be more expensive, but I haven't decided yet on the price. Scorpio, you can go to Paleo World Creative Corner group. If you want, if you haven't already signed up to it, you can also follow the link. Do you want me to drop a link to it, or do you want me to do that later? Or you already a member? It's on Facebook. You can post your paleo art and dinosaur-related artwork there, and submit it for a review if it gets approved. And yeah, sorry, I'm struggling to keep up with the chat a little bit, so I'm just kind of going along as we speak. Yeah, that's right. So thank you, Hood Angel. Like I said, I struggle to keep up with the chat because I'm trying to make sure I address as much as possible. I don't want to leave people out. So, and yes, Discord server is gonna be set up hopefully soon as well. Once I figure out how to do it, and if it's not gonna cost me anything, then I will definitely set that up as well. Ah, it's free. Okay, good. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Good Angel. Thank you. Instagram is not as much related to the stuff I do. It's more kind of just daily kind of stuff, you know, regular things. As you noticed, it's more to do with, you know, personal things rather than paleo related. But some of the stuff, I sometimes post announcements or some pictures of my work as well. Yeah, I'll try to see if I can maybe download the Discord app on the phone perhaps, and that would probably be easier, and I can just look into it, see how to set it up. Probably one Google search will do the trick whenever I have time to get around to it. Should be able to do it soon. I just need to make sure I remember it. A lot of times I forget it and I just get distracted with other work, so I need to make sure I get that done as well. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, there's a reason why PC is a lot more versatile when it comes to these things. They are a lot easier to manage. But sometimes when you're on your way somewhere and you just want to drop in to see what people are doing, then it might be easier to do it on a phone. Thank you for coming, and good luck with whatever it is you're up to. Come back soon, please, and we'll continue from where we left off. You can always catch up later anyway, once it gets uploaded, and you can just finish watching it from where you left. So that's not an issue as well. So if anybody has to go and do, you know, things, run some errands or whatever, then feel free to do that now and come back later, or just watch where you stopped and you can rewatch the entire stream again if you want, or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Rambling here a little bit. Okay. The other problem as well is that I don't know if they've already, I mean, I hope they haven't managed to get it through, but I think they're very likely going to introduce the Article 13, which is basically gonna be Order 66 against everybody who does, you know, gaming related kind of content, any movie review content that contains copyrighted material, and yeah, that's gonna be pretty crappy for everybody who is part of the EU and does the gaming related channels or movie review channels. So Gaming Beaver and Best in Slot in particular are not gonna be happy about this. Don't want to get too political, but I know the solution to that problem. But hey, if only things were that easy. But we're not bringing that up here. But just saying that this shouldn't be there. This Article 13 just should. One of the worst, it's like one of the worst ideas in the history of bad ideas, quoting Dr. Malcolm here. They're just gonna alienate a lot of people this way. It's not like they're not doing it already. Like Google is, you know, policies, and YouTube filtering content is also getting a little bit weird about certain things. because, you know, we cannot let feelings get hurt, apparently. That's the most precious thing. Yeah, I would say that's what you just suggested, 7.3 tons and 12.5 meters. That's about the size I would give the top, roughly. Why do, wait a second. Oh yeah, the neotype, the jaw fragment, yeah. But again, it's just a jaw fragment, because if you're gonna be looking at the jaw fragments here, then you might as well do the same for all the similar T-Rex materials, and you will find consistently that T-Rex would come out maybe potentially slightly bigger than what we know as well. So they would still be even in each other out in any case. I think, you know, with Giganotosaurus, unfortunately, there's just not enough data. We're lucky that we even got that holotype, to be honest, because who knows, you know, ever since it got discovered, I don't think there's been any more specimens recovered from it, from that period anyway. And that's why this period in particular is very badly known. You don't really know a whole lot about what sort of things are in that ecosystem. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Giga doesn't have a skull that long. It's about 1.6, I think. In fact, you can check Franoy's diagram. I think he gives the skull measurement as well. And I don't think it goes much higher than 1.6. Which is a more realistic and more proportionally realistic for Carcharodontosaurid. It used to be 1.95, almost 2 meters, when it was being hyped and everything. You remember those days? This model was almost kind of based on that proportion, and that's why the head is just too damn big for this model. It should be complete, it should be like so much smaller. Yeah, Article 13 is gonna be freaking ridiculous. Well, I am in UK and I am in Surrey. It's a county. We don't have in United Kingdom doesn't have states. There are a couple countries in it: Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, and Wales. They're part of the United Kingdom. But I live in England, about 40 minutes drive away from London, in an area called, well, in a county called Surrey, and in an area very close to Hampton Court Palace. Yeah, I agree, and I'm kind of more inclined to agree with Hartman's opinion, to be honest, because it's just, I mean, most of the times when there's not enough data to test against it, I always try to stick with a more conservative approach. I don't like to kind of, we already know what happens when we go all out on it, and we have kind of been led on a while ago to believe that the Giganotosaurus skull was like 195, which is obviously wrong. I always knew it was kind of wrong, but there was just no way to verify this with anything. And, you know, I'm talking about the days when I was considering forums to be a good source of information. You know, silly me back in the days. So yeah, long process before I got to where I am. Right. Right now it's 21:38. So that's almost 20 to 10 p.m. I don't think they evolved into one another. I think they split, and the split could have been anywhere rather early, I would imagine, because we already see nodos. I don't remember if it's a nodosaurid or not. You have to look it up. It's a Gargolesaurus from Morris Information. I think it's a nodosaurid. And before that, in the early Jurassic, we have a Celidosaurid, which is a Celidosaurus harrisoni, and that is basically a good indication of something that could potentially have given rise to different branches, whether it's Ankylosauria or other like Stegosauria, etc. So I think that's where we're gonna be looking at. Whereabouts in Surrey are you from, by the way, Mesozoic Master? Yeah, I would like to see King of the Monsters. I'm definitely curious to see what they're gonna produce. I can't say I'm like jumping out of excitement, but I definitely want to see it anyway. It's gonna be interesting to watch for sure. It's just that I've learned to not set my expectations very high anymore when it comes to Hollywood. So forgive me if I lack the obvious, well, enthusiasm. I just don't have it because just Hollywood has disappointed me so many times that I just simply don't have it in me anymore to get excited about anything when it comes to Hollywood. What do you mean life in Romania is boring? I want to go there and see a Castle Bran, where Vlad the Impaler used to live. I want to go to that castle, and also I've had my share of experience with some women from your country, and I gotta say, it's very memorable, positive. I mean, memorable. So, Hampshire. Okay, I got you. Yeah, there we go. Not a sword, as I called it. So yeah, there. So you see, it's as early as Jurassic. So it's definitely somewhere in Jurassic period we have a split into these branches. But the Ankylosaurida, the ones with the tail clubs, that's another story. We have to see where they date from the first taxon to see how early do they evolve these tail clubs. No, I don't have to share where exactly. I'm just curious in general the area. It's not like anybody's gonna be looking around and trying to find you because, well, we don't see your face and I don't think anybody cares. I'm just out of curiosity asking. Um, oh, okay, I see what you mean. Oh, he didn't. Um, oh, okay, I got it confused then. Okay, which castle did he live in then? Or, well, I mean, where did he live? Because the Castle Brand seems to be commonly associated with him, but apparently you said that that's where he was imprisoned, right? Yeah, schools are boring. Sorry, mate, but yeah, schools suck. That's why you want to finish it as quickly as possible and get out of there. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we're doing good. Finishing my tea. I'm gonna resume the sculpting. Right. And one more here. Two. Seven. I got 7 people viewing right now and 7 likes. So therefore 7. This stream code name is gonna be 7 from now on. By the way, did I hear it correctly at one point or another that I don't know if it's anywhere at all other than America, but in the US, do they refer to any alcohol drinks as 7 as well? Right. It's gone quiet all of a sudden. Am I lagging by any chance, or are you just watching me do my sculpting quietly and getting your drinks or snacks or whatever? Wanna know if I'm still connected with you or am I lagging? Okay, yeah, thanks for uh, the info about Vlad the Impaler. I'm definitely gonna make a sculpt of him as well in 1 to 10 scale to put next to all my dinosaurs. I'm gonna make Vlad the Impaler, Henry VIII, Richard III, Julius Caesar, and Napoleon Bonaparte. So yes, we're gonna have a few of the notable characters. Oh, and Jeanne d'Arc as well. So yeah, we'll have those characters made eventually and we'll put them next to our dinosaurs. Chris Pratt, who cares about Chris Pratt? I mean, he's a funny guy, but why would I want to make a sculpture of him? He's just some Hollywood actor. Plus, remember, I don't want to make any licensed merchandise if you're talking about Owen Grady, Chris Pratt. I presume you meant bathroom? Because math room is the new kind of room I've never heard of before, so you may want to enlighten us a little bit what that means. Okay, I gotcha, I gotcha. What have you drawn so far, Optimus Prime? Like, is it a very big list of things, or is it only a few items? Is it too long to list here? Wish it would give some kind of notification to show who is actually joined. Because it just shows the numbers, but it doesn't tell. It would be nice to actually see who's signed up to the stream right now. Like, who is watching. I mean, I can look at it anyway if I want to, if I want to go close to, but I don't feel like getting up to go up to my computer for this. But yeah, you know how on Instagram streams you can actually see when people sign up, you can see how somebody joined, etc. I think that would be a bit more convenient if the same thing was done here, but maybe as a pop-up notification rather than just coming up in the chat, because then it's gonna just flood the chat a little bit too much. How can you make a raptor, even if it's a JP raptor, without claws? I mean, this is awkward. Okay, never mind. It's just people just try too hard to be edgy these days. They just don't know what else to do. The funny thing is, the harder they try, the worse it gets. What place you mean? Is it like an actual retail store, or you mean online shop? Yeah, I already said that before as well, but for some reason I found Gennaro's death to be particularly amusing, while Muldoon was... Well, Muldoon is because he's a cool character, he was badass as well. He went out like a boss too, and I mean, there's every reason to be upset about his death. While when it comes to Gennaro, he's a coward, clearly. He's obviously greedy and selfish. And there's really nothing likable about him anyway, so you kind of expect him to be eaten, and that's one of the problems I had with later films, that a lot of the pointless, let's just say a lot less, how do I say that? Let's just say that Gennaro still had some kind of presence and flavor about him. There was something about him, okay? It's not like he was very well written as a character in the movie, in the first film, but he kind of was giving away that presence to a degree of what kind of character he was. But in the later films, so many characters were just completely pointless, and yet they still survive, especially in Fallen Kingdom. Like, okay, I would still feel somewhat bad for this veterinary girl who has never had experience with dinosaurs but claims to be a veterinary doctor of dinosaurs, whatever. But I still kind of would feel bad for her dying, because I think she's kind of cute. I have to admit, it is what it is. No matter where you go, no matter what happens, I am a man, I think with my dick. So yeah, I would be quite reluctant. So yes, I will be a bit biased in that way. And yeah, I would hesitate thinking that maybe I don't want her to die. When it comes to that whining kid, Franklin, who was completely useless, who was absolutely random character, and had absolutely no premise to him, there was nothing special about him, he was just whining and screaming the whole time and annoying the crap out of me. Yeah, I wish he was eaten and he survived. I kind of was disappointed at that part. He should have been eaten. This would have given this movie at least 0.1 point out of 100 extra if he was eaten. Okay, fine, 1 point, okay, 1 point. I'll correct that. 1 point extra out of 100. So like whatever, I don't know, like 10 points that I give it out of 100, it would have been 11 if this guy got eaten. Well, it's natural that people would be comparing films in terms of what they're offering on the table, so it's just like any, you could compare all of them together, but it just depends, you know. JP3 was a bad film, it wasn't a good film, it was not a good Jurassic Park film, especially. Maybe as a film itself, it wasn't as bad as it is a bad JP film. Does that make sense? Like, it's a crappy JP film, but it's an okay film as it is just being a film without anything to it. And even then, there's nothing particularly fun about it. As much as again, see, that's another situation. Again, I'm thinking with my dick, because I was gonna say I wish Amanda Kirby got eaten because she kept screaming all the time and was annoying as fuck the whole time. She was always messing things up for the group. So there would be every reason for me to want her to get eaten. But Tia Leone, especially, well, I mean, it's been years and years, of course, I don't know what she looks like now. But dude, back in the days, she was a gorgeous woman. And I've seen some of her pictures online when I googled her in that time, back in 2001. Yeah, so, like I said, I'm a bit biased in that way. It's hard for me to want, even if they're absolutely crappy and pointless characters, it's hard for me to want them to get murdered, especially if they're pretty females. It's just the way I am. Not ashamed of it, it's just how it is. Oh, and Billy Brennan should have died, by the way. I think it would have been a bit more impactful if he actually was dead. By the way, Hood Angel, why would this be like a problem? If you feel free, as in like if you feel free, if you if you don't mind, do you wanna share with us here why that would be a problem in terms of, you know, with people and stuff? Like, what sort of bad things can you really expect from happening just to for people to know what your hobby is? I mean, I came from a background where these things were frequently frowned upon because, you know, I wasn't this kind of guy who was into cars very much, you know, I wasn't into football and all of these things, and therefore, you know, by other guys, I was kind of considered a nerd, but they couldn't win an argument against me in anywhere, so go figure who is the, you know, you know what I mean? Like, they would tip you their bitch, but when they try to, they get owned. So who's the bitch? You know what I mean? So it's highly debatable who is gonna be the bitch in the end. But my point is, I understand what you're talking about because I was growing up at school in a post-Soviet Rostov-on-Don, and that's like 90s. It was like all about either being, you know, of a high rank, you know, rich person, or you were in a gang, or you were a mafia, or you were just something. But like the whole idea of hobby or any kind of interest that is not standard ballpark interest that was considered to be acceptable. Sorry, I need to get rid of the habit of doing air quotes. It's the worst fucking thing ever. So air quotes have to go. Anyway, you get the idea, though. Like, it's, I've kind of come from that background, but I think you have to stand up to yourself for, even if it means that somebody's gonna try to whack you in the head a little bit. Then go to freaking, I don't know, go to the gym, sign up to martial art classes. I mean, I remember some guys from school, they would try to mess with me a little bit, and they would try to kind of almost go across the line in terms of bullying. Then I signed up to taekwondo. Yeah. Then they shut up, basically. So I don't know what laws are like in Romania, because back in the days when I was in Russia, nobody really cared. So if somebody picked a fight with you and you defended yourself and you beat him up, even police wouldn't care as long as you don't do it out in the public where everybody can see you. They would hide somewhere in the corner, you know. Yeah, hold on a second, let me approve the messages, just a moment. Okay, let's quickly check the poster. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Cool, 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 cool. Right. So yeah, that was me seeing the poster. Now let's respond to some messages. I mean, I don't know, Fallen Kingdom because no, man. I mean, I consider them to be almost equally as weak as each other, depending on what sort of things you're talking about. Because the effects they were much better in JP3. Design visuals were much better in JP3. But the plot and the characters, they sucked in both films just as much. So it's kind of like JP3 would still win by at least 1 or 2 points just for the visuals, you know? And the characters were badly written in both films, but yeah, but that's my kind of assessment. Everything else evens out, more or less. And, you know, neither of them score points for originality, neither of them have any reason to even exist. So, acting, not very good. Characters, really badly written. JW, well, Fallen Kingdom has 2 pretty women. JP3 has 1, if that's even a factor, which it shouldn't be really, because I'm just being me. And like I said, I think with my dick a lot, so it is what it is. Sorry, it is what it is. In fact, I'm not gonna. Sorry that I'm not sorry. Yeah. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Oh, hold on, let me approve it again. For some reason, YouTube wants to. He was like, do you want to? Yeah, it's because try to see if you can avoid, like, using the words maybe, so I don't have to get up off my seat all the time and approve the messages. Because I don't mind you saying that. It's just that I have to get up off my. Yeah. A kid who wants to. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. That's really fucked up. Like, I'm sorry to be breaking this, but that's really fucked up. I mean, I have certain arguments against the way my father and my parents have done certain things back in the days, which partially contributed to some of my, failures probably. But I mean, but it's like, shaming people for this kind of thing, that's really, nah, that's too much. Okay, I come up with an alternative decision. I'm gonna move the mouse closer maybe, so I can just drag it over and approve messages. Let's see if that works. Okay, yeah, that's better. Let's see if I can. Things by many of my I'm just trying to understand hold on. What does that mean, by the way? How does that translate? Unless I'm not yet in that part where you translated it already. Yeah, I mean, I get the point as well, so that's fine. I mean, there's no need to go into all the details. I just wanted to get a basic understanding of how bad things get and why. But yeah, Sorry to hear that. I hope you will find it in you to not, um, you know, give up whatever it is you want eventually. Once you're old enough and you have things, like hopefully get a job and stuff like that, you can move out and you can just build your own life. But by the way, can everybody say and confirm whether or not anybody else is lagging? Is it just you, Optimus Prime, who's lagging, or is everyone else lagging as well? Okay, so you are also lagging. So two of you are lagging. Anyone else is lagging? I'm just gonna let it rest for a little bit. Pixelated. Okay, that's pretty shit. Anyone else? I mean, it shows that there's 7 people who are watching, so can anyone else please post just to see what else people are getting? Okay, so we got 2 pixels and we got pixelated and we got 1 just really bad quality, okay. Let me know when it stops, by the way, and also anybody else who's watching, please post and let me know what's going on. Because I want to understand, because, well, I mean, 2 people already saying that it's lagging, so all 3. This might mean that it's my end of things, but unfortunately, it's just how internet is sometimes. Well, yeah, internet is unfortunately gonna be sometimes there's just nothing one can do about it. It is what it is. So let's hope soon, or maybe when it gets to the channel, it might actually be better, but I could only hope, I guess. And what time is it now? It's okay, so let's say in 20 minutes we're gonna call it a night because I don't wanna go late. I wanna chillax a little bit before I go, and then got some things. Yeah, I don't know that either. I have no idea. Well, if you've got to get up tomorrow, you should probably get an early night since it's already like past 12. So you might wanna, and then you can come back and watch it to the end when it gets uploaded to the channel. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, good to know. I was beginning to get a bit nervous that it's gonna go downwards and worse from this point on, but let's hope there's not gonna be any more issues. Yeah, it might be the internet is gonna be slowly evening out, and hopefully soon. That's what I'm hoping for as well. So by the time it gets to 10:30 here, we could already get past, or I don't know, maybe if I don't get too tired in about, 15 minutes or so, then I might stay a bit longer, maybe extra half an hour. I also want to avoid making the videos, streams too long, because yeah, if anybody wants to come back basically, or if they haven't been able to make it and they want to rewatch it, it's gonna be too long to watch, even as it is already. So yeah, I'm nearly done on this last plate here at the bottom, so I'm gonna be doing the larger scales soon, and then hopefully, you know what, let's try to see if we can finish it. Let's try to see if we can actually finish it, at least this part, so we can definitely get the tail done next time. Or if I finish the tail by the time it hits, we could be doing some painting on the camera as well instead. We'll see. Well, painting not this one, I mean painting something that I'm gonna be building for my sponsor and a customer. Because I painted him an Oviraptor and check to see how the casting for the Protoceratops turned out, and once that's done, I'm gonna be building and painting that for him as well. And then I'm gonna ask him what he wants me to make a stego, or does he want me to make the Echinocephalus or a lion. And based on what he answers, then we will do that, because it's his money, so he has the right to say. Of course, I can advise him on what would be the most cost and economically effective thing to do, and also for the shipping, like when it comes to mailing these packages to him when the time comes. But of course, it will be his call ultimately to decide. But whatever he decides, I can assure you it's going. Echinocephalus is gonna look amazing as well when it's fully assembled and painted. I don't know what would be a 1:20 Stegosaurus. I mean, the one that I was showing on my video was actually 1:10. So I would use whatever measurements are on Dance Dinosaur's website, multiply that by 10, and then compare it to the inferior for the Stegosaurus. And see. I haven't actually compared it yet, so before I'm going to be buying any kits, I'm going to actually try to compare to see if it's consistent or not, because I kind of want it to be, well, accurate and fitted. Speaking of Shane's 1:15 scale Pachycephalosaurus, there's something particularly interesting about really is intriguing. I think because at the time it was made, he was probably using the measurements that were estimated to be about 6 meters long, while I think the more conservative measurements of modern day are giving it about 4.5 meters. And so in 1:15 scale, that Pachycephalosaurus matches the 1:10 size as of today. Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, it's technically supposed to be renamed to 1:10 scale, not to 1:10. It was intended to be 1:15 back in the time. Right now, it doesn't match that scale based on this info. It matches 1:10 size, however. So yeah, I'm not gonna be making a Pachycephalosaurus myself, because it's not that prominent to be made into a kit, and since already Shane has made it, so I mean, it's not like it's a triceratops Stegosaurus, or I don't know, Tyrannosaurus, Allosaurus, or something that I could personally consider maybe to be very cool, you know, that is worth making as your own kit. To me, Pachycephalosaurus is just not that kind of dinosaur to be made, you know, into this kind of top list. And that's considering that my list of kits that I'm liking. Or not. Yeah. Is it lagging now? Has it stopped, or is it still being stupid about it? Just want to make sure that okay, it stopped lagging. Okay, good. So yeah, Protoceratops and Velociraptor is currently in the process of being molded. Some parts are already molded and casted. Others are still in the process, so it's gonna appear on the channel quite soon, and it will be added to the list of available products on my page in the next few days. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna start lagging again at some point. It's just this kind of connection seems to be a problem tonight for a problem tonight for some stupid reason, but I'll have to probably. Okay, we're gonna finish this soon. No worries. I'm actually haven't got that patience. I'm nearly done. I will have to retouch some of the areas just to be sure before I go and give it to some of my friends like Jeffrey and others who have a more hands-on, you know, uh, access to the Stegosaurus, so they can review it and tell me if they think that something needs to be added or removed or whatever before I bake it. Because once they bake it, there's no way I can unmake it. Oh shit. Yeah, it should be available before Christmas, I'm hoping at least. But again, that depends on whether my sponsor wants to, you know, want to invest all the silicon that I have in the box, but there's another bigger box with a few more units. Does he want me to do this one straight away, or does he want me to do the other pieces? Because I don't know how many I can do, whether or not I'm able to actually do both the Echinocephalus and Steg from the same batch. So it will be a matter of deciding together, just talking to him. But I'm hoping that it will become available before Christmas as well. That's my ideal kind of plan. I want to make these, as many of these things already out before Christmas. Let me just take a look here. Right. I think I may need to add a few more bigger scales on the other side, because it looks like here. Yeah, I need to add a couple more here. Just to make sure that it's obviously gonna be mirroring each other as much as possible. Not 100%, but so that it gives that impression. Yeah, you will definitely see it. You're definitely going soon. And from that point on, if anybody ever, well, specifically, very specific people that I won't name in this video right now, gonna be trying to smear me again, they will be hearing from me time and time again until they either start backing up their argument or actually making actual arguments to begin with, or if they stop doing it altogether. Yeah, it's gonna be a really nice kit when it comes out, the Echinocephalus. I'm looking forward to it myself. It was actually my first sculpt from this series, funny enough, and yet it didn't make it among the first released kits, but let's see how that goes. It's definitely gonna be among the first 10, I would imagine. Even maybe 5. What's the second name? I know Calico Jackosaur channel, but what's the other one? Is that his other channel that he runs, or that I haven't heard of before, obviously? I haven't seen his stuff for a long time, to be honest. I may need to catch up with his content a little bit in the nearest future. What do you mean something big? How big and what is it about? Any hints, or is it just gonna be a Loch Ness monster kind of mystery at this point? have never been into original Hellboy, personally. Just, I watched it, I definitely watched it, but I mean, it was to the point that I didn't even remember it. Like, I hardly remember anything from it. Just didn't really stick with me, I guess. But I mean, I've only watched it once, long time ago, and I think maybe one of the reasons why I don't remember it is because I just really didn't like it all that much. Like, maybe it was not a bad film, I'm pretty sure it was okay, but it just wasn't something that probably got stuck to me too much. And hence why I didn't leave any of these kind of really strong impressions. But who knows, maybe the new one might actually be really good, so we'll see. I mean, I haven't seen. Is there a trailer out? Because I haven't seen if there is one. Okay. Because it would have been a bit more helpful if there was a trailer just to see what it's gonna be like. And whether or not we're gonna expect another SJW bullshit from Hollywood again. Right, let's actually compare to make sure that it's once again symmetrical. Because yeah, that's right. That's pretty much what I'm gonna be probably using. Like, combination of green, brown, maybe some. Of course, there's gonna be beige. Insert lenti beige, and there's also gonna be maybe some redwood kind of brown on the plates, perhaps, and few parts on the body. Because I wanna try to like vary the colors a little bit. Oh yeah, Captain Marvel. Nah, I'll pass. Thank you. I mean, don't know who that is. I've seen the trailer. I don't care, and I am not a fan of Brie Larson in particular. And yeah, I don't want to support her work. So I'll pass. let's just say I'd rather spend my money on something else and better than Captain Marvel. Now there will be some, well, not red basically, but more so like, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's gonna be some of that redwood brown, call it. But it's gonna look a bit reddish, yes. So yeah, that's happening definitely. And yeah, Brie Larson is stupid. Take care, Scorpy. Was nice seeing you. Made it first again. Yeah, the thing is, a lot of times, I mean, I personally have had problems in particular trying to separate the art from the artist. If the artist is known for spewing nonsense, it's gonna be extremely hard for me to not look at their work through that prism. And that's why I always say, if you're in this kind of business, stick to business. Don't be talking too much crap about politics, and don't try to inject your own personal virtue signaling and all that kind of nonsense there. Nobody cares about this shit. People only care about your work. They don't care about what you think, and you shouldn't be of that arrogant stance as much as thinking that your opinions matter more than anyone else's. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why a lot of Hollywood celebrities have just completely gone from here to like all the way down. For me, I used to like quite a number of them. Now I just cannot stand a large, a large portion of them just because I heard them talk openly about their views about politics and other things alike. Or just generally acting like really self-entitled idiots who are completely out of touch with reality. Don't get me wrong though, there are some really good people in Hollywood as well. Yeah, that's the problem, because if you're gonna be catering to social justice, you're gonna, they say, I think it was Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers who actually invented this, but correct me if I'm wrong, but get woke, go broke, bitch. And it's true. Nobody wants to watch you pushing this virtue signaling and whatever other crappy agendas. People want to relax, they want to get entertained. So me as a viewer, I would be very disappointed to see this kind of stuff being injected literally everywhere, and that's one of the reasons why Star Wars got ruined. That's one of the reasons why many other things got ruined, and chances of them regaining their former glory are gonna be pretty low from that point on, because once you screw something up, it's almost impossible to kind of regain that momentum again. Once it goes down, that's it. It's like a freaking plane crash. If it crashed, that's it. It's gone. I need to see from below a little bit here. I don't know if I watched that video, but I've seen somebody make a video about the new Doctor Who getting ruined by this SJW crap. And the worst part is that the main actress actually is not at fault here, to my knowledge. I mean, people do apparently acknowledge her being a very good actress and doing pretty well, but it's just the whole political correctness crap that's being pushed there. And just generally, this social justice agenda, it's just getting to the point where I actually heard people literally just not letting their kids watch this because they don't want this crap to be injected into their young minds. And that's a good choice, in my opinion. I would fully support parents who decide that their kids should not watch this stuff. If I were a parent right now, I would do the same thing. In fact, I would try to keep them as entertained as possible so they wouldn't even have to watch much of TV anyway, considering how boring and idiotic it is these days. I've also watched a couple videos from Jeremy from the Quartering channel as well. And I think it was also from Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy's channel too. And it's about the comic book shop that apparently either got closed down or it's dropped sales because it refused the customer. Because he was apparently, the owner of the shop was a typical SJW idiot, and yeah, she decided it was a good idea to turn down a customer. Well done for business. That's why you don't let them run anything, because as soon as they get into power, everything goes to shit. I'm not even gonna bring up politically correct humor because that's kind of stepping outside of the realm of what we generally discuss here. Because, it's one thing to talk about games and movies, but kind of I don't want to derail this too far into the political subject since it's a very edgy kind of topic. Oh, dude, don't get me started with Rey. She's just so, like, boring. I'm sorry, but this is one of the worst characters in big franchises that's ever been made in history. Like, seriously. Oh yes, yeah, things have been nice, just really busy, lots of work, and I am nearly finished with the stego. I mean the torso. So I'm going once I'm done, I'm gonna give you a nice kind of view on the camera. I'm probably gonna, instead of picking it up, I'm just gonna pick up the camera and show you from multiple angles instead. So bear with me. I've just got a few scales to place here, and it should be done. I don't know, dude. Like I said, there is no way to tell if I'm gonna be able to mold and cast it by next Thursday. It depends on what the sponsor, my sponsor, decides. I will leave it up to him because it's technically his money that paid for the silicone rubber. So it will be up to him to decide whether he wants to cast the steg or whether he wants to do the echinocephalus instead, and then do the steg later. So I have to ask him. Yeah, let's talk dinosaurs. And no, 2016 Ghostbusters, I haven't watched it and I don't intend to, so shush about that. It doesn't exist. Right, let's see what else is there. How are we gonna stick the tail to body? When it's done, it's just it's gonna get molded and casted, and when the resin kit is produced, I'm just gonna do the regular thing, you know, drilling the hole on both sides, putting the rod, some super glue, stick it on, some putty to even out the gaps if there are any. Done. Side projects, I mean, I don't have any side projects as such in regards to dinosaurs. It's more like just focusing on the main things right now, just finishing up with sculpting stuff that I'm doing for my sponsor, because obviously it's part of the condition that I have to produce, you know, specific kits that he's gonna be willing to sponsor. And once I produce it, then he gets one of each for free of free charge labor. But good, like I said, good on me that, and lucky as well, and very very good of him to have been going ahead with this and me, you know, make this happen. So no side project as such. It's just pretty much that's what I'm focusing on right now. I mean, I guess you can only, when you're one person, you can only really do certain things at the same time. No more, no less, I would presume. No, the thing is, the glue will be used when the casting is done. That's when I'm gonna be assembling the kit, because later on, once I finish cooking this thing, I'm gonna probably separate the head and the neck as a single part from here as well. And I don't know about the legs yet. Maybe I might have to separate the legs as well, because it's quite a big hefty piece for a mold. So that's gonna happen anyway. But the reason why I'm not putting the tail on it is because it won't fit in my oven. It's gonna be too big to fit in my oven for the baking. Yeah, Rex is gonna be a multi-part for sure from the get-go. I don't even think I'm gonna be... The only thing I might do as a whole thing for the Rex is I might probably be... I don't even know whether I should do it as a whole thing or from get-go and then split it up for cooking, or whether I'm gonna be sculpting it completely separate, part by part. I don't know yet. I'll have to decide on that. This is gonna be a tricky one. Interesting, but if hopefully done right, it's gonna be one of the coolest things you guys seen, because like I'm myself excited for a large theropod, especially a T-Rex or a Giga, because these are gonna be the largest theropods I'm gonna be doing. As I said before, I'm not gonna be touching the Spinosaurus since it's just too much, you know, ambiguity. I kind of prefer to stick with things that I think are moderately well known, at least. But for those who are into Spinosaurids, good news is that I intend to make a Suchomimus as well. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yes, it's gonna be the same scale, which means 48 inches. So let's see if I can actually fit it in the camera. So this is the measuring tape. It barely fits the screen. So see my thumb here? That's 48 inches. And the tip there. That's how long the Rex and the Gigas are gonna be both, roughly. The longest piece that I plan to make is gonna be a Camarasaurus. But it might be a bit easier because the tail might actually curl up a little bit, so it might not be exactly the same length as it would be fully stretched out, and because the neck goes upwards a little bit as well. So it's not gonna be straight up, it's gonna go up a little bit more, but it's gonna be quite massive as well. But yeah, Camarasaurus is probably gonna be the largest creature along the lines of T-Rex, Giga, Trike, and all other similar sized ceratopsids like Torosaurus and Bravoceratops, which are gonna be based on the Trike kit anyway, as far as the torso goes, and legs maybe as well. Then of course you're gonna have Colombian mammoth. That's gonna be a massive one as well. Yeah, I'll sculpt them separately, some of them, depends. If they can fit perfectly well lengthwise, then I will just try to stick with sculpting the pieces that I can fit. I'm not gonna probably split them up from the get-go, as until the very time it's needed to be done, because obviously making a whole thing as a single piece is much easier than doing them separately, but sometimes you just have to make them separate, unfortunately. So it might not be all as simple, but it's part of the challenge of 1 to 10 scale, but it's just one of those things that is just gonna be a lot more fun. And painting them will be awesome. Putting them up on my background here is gonna be insane as well. They're gonna probably take over my whole shelf with most of the stuff. Like all my dinosaur related items that I have on my background are gonna probably get replaced with my 1 to 10 scale figures once I get them done. But I might change it around a little bit, so you're not gonna obviously see the same thing all the time. You're gonna be seeing different things, because you cannot fit all of them at once, so we're gonna spread it around a little bit, just change it from one video to another. Uh, I don't know. The Raptor is a bit of an obscure creature to me, so I'm not touching it right now. To be honest, dromaeosaurs for me are just not my top interest when it comes to dinosaurs. I mean, I'm more kind of into bigger theropods when it comes to that sort of thing. I like armored dinosaurs, ceratopsids, you know, maybe even sauropods as well. Hence why in my list of kits you will find most dinosaurs are either theropods, maybe ceratopsids, and you'll find a number of armored dinosaurs in there, but not many ornithopods. Although, come to think of it, maybe if I have space, I might do something like an Ouranosaurus, or I don't know, maybe iguana. Well, iguanodon is gonna be pretty big though, but still quite iconic as well. Considering that I plan to do a Polacanthus, so it might not be a bad idea to do an iguanodon. What question? I might have missed it. Hold on. Was there a question I missed? Oh, dinosaur documentary. Well, directing is not the same as writing. So if you want me to say what I would make it about, hold on a second. I'm gonna be probably sneezing, so let me grab a tissue. Just a moment. Okay, excuse me. Ah, my goodness. Nah, it's no sneezing, but still needed to clean up a little bit because wind from the windows. So when I sit too long in front of the open window, it's just my nose starts reacting to it. But yeah, if I were to make a dinosaur-related documentary, like I said before, I want it to be about the convergent evolution of predators versus the prey, and specifically to do with how exploring the relationship between evolution of predatory tools versus those of prey's armor as the periods go further and further down, all the way from like say early Jurassic or even Triassic, and all the way to the late Cretaceous, by which time they become extinct. So I would probably do multiple episodes, discussing various topics on that specific thing. But I am gonna be discussing it anyway on this channel eventually. What I want to do, perhaps, for making the better content, anyways, produce, maybe see if I can either get somebody to do it or make myself a nice intro theme for this. Maybe film some footage for it, maybe do some other stuff for it to make it really nice. And I want to produce as many of these model kits as possible. And once I get that done, they could be used for my videos as well. And I think I'm staying here a bit longer than I planned, but I really wanted to make sure that the stego gets finished. So let me get an overview to make sure. Oh wait, hold on. Do we need another? No, not really. Or do we? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand if I've done the symmetry correctly. So let me just turn it around a bit. Sorry, that's gonna be a dissected butt. Yeah, a couple more here because we need it to be a bit more symmetrical. yeah, if Dinochirus is gonna gain any kind of interest or demand, or if my sponsor decides that he wants a Dinochirus really badly, then yeah, we'll make a Dinochirus kit as well, which would be potentially quite good to go with what I plan to do for the Nemegd collection. And the Nemegd collection will so far only has two animals from that list, which is Tarbosaurus and Therizinosaurus. So yeah, that's definitely to consider. Well, really been made before, so I think it would be nice, especially in 1 to 10 scale. It's gonna look pretty badass. Yeah, okay. So let's put this on a nice kind of angle and we will start giving you a bit of a... Right, I will need to fix the bottom bit, but that's before the cooking, because I'm picking it up from here to avoid damaging, but some of it already got smoothed out, but that's not a dangerous area, it's fine. So now let's see if we can get you closer to explore this. Okay, so that was, I could say that's this part of the job done. Probably a good end note for the video as well. So let's have a quick chat and relax a little bit, and then we're gonna end the video here. I think that makes it a perfect ending. Exactly how I would have wanted it to be. At least we got a milestone here, so we completed this part of the sculpt. So during the week's time I could either finish it myself, or if I don't get to do that, then we can finish it for the camera and get the tail done, and then start baking and then molding it and casting if my sponsor decides that he wants to have this kit before he has the other one. So, but we'll have to figure it out. No, not osteoderms, by the way. They are just flat scutate scales. They have like hexagonal scales which are surrounded by smaller scales, that kind of pattern. And that was correctly pointed out to me by Jeffrey, who was here on in a couple videos back in one of the interviews as well. The latest interview video, basically, with Jeffrey Bond. That's the one. That's the guy basically who helped me, pretty much supervised my model making actually. Let's scroll up a bit. There's not really bad that could happen to it, really. I mean, just as long as you don't overcook it as per session. So once you cooked it once, you can then add things on top of it, and then you can cook it again once it cooled down, you know, and that stuff. So that's perfectly fine, but if you leave it in the oven for way too long, yeah, it might crumble, or just, I don't know what's really going to happen, but it might just not be a good thing to do. I don't want to risk it potentially causing fire or anything like that. I don't think it's going to go that bad, but who knows. I am. Yes, I'm still gonna have to find out, so that's why I'm not gonna be cooking it just yet. I want to find out whether the cheeks would even be there, and whether I should kind of keep it as it is, or whether I should just extend the, the jawline all the way back, like all the way back to here, or wherever it's meant to go. So I have yet to check that to see if it's, actually, if there is any, reasonable grounds to assume that there might be muscle attachments there, but I need to, again, find that out. Now that I'm at this stage, yes, it might be a good idea to find out, because all it will take is just to add a few lines there and then, and that's problem solved. Literally. I'm sorry, Hood Angel, I'm not sure who you're referring to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if it's something that is from movie or a comic book or a cartoon, if I've seen it, I would have probably recognized it, but I don't recognize. You said Aaron Ra, is that correct? Or did you misspell it? Sorry, I don't recognize it, so that's my answer. Then I guess it's sufficient at this point. Yeah, I don't know who that is. What we have, it's 150 minutes. Oh, it's a channel. Okay. What's oh, what is he about? What sort of content does he do? Oh no, no. Sorry, not my cup of tea. I mean, I've seen enough of these things, and I don't want to ever even get into any kind of creationist related stuff. Don't even want to go close to it, because I don't even consider these people, or even debunking these people, as something that I want to spend my time on, both doing or even watching other people do it. I've seen enough already. It's all the same thing over and over again, and it's not really. This is the point where I don't even find it entertaining anymore. It's just sad. Sorry, just not my kind of thing. Sorry. I'm not taking you out of it, of course. Like I say, I only give my own feedback and opinion. But yeah, anything creationist related, keep that out of here. No, I know he is not. I'm just saying that I don't even care about even watching other people debunking them anymore, because, as I said before, it's all the same stuff that I've seen millions of times before from other people already. It's not something that I personally consider to be worthy of my time. There's only a certain amount of certain things you can watch before it becomes so repetitive and predictable that it's just not entertaining anymore, and you just don't want to waste your time on it. That's what I basically said. I never made a claim that he was a creationist or anything. I don't even know him, so how can I make any claims like that? That's the Ammonite, right? The one that you've sent me in the comments from, you know, our previous live stream, right? How do you pronounce the thing? Parapuzosia or Parapuzosia? Am I in the right realm of pronunciation? I'm always really good at butchering names, but I'm not really great at pronouncing them correctly. Although when I get it right, I think I'm quite alright. Right, so let's see. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I'll see. I'll see. If I have time and interest, I might. Well, repetition in terms of that it's a lot to do with same points being brought up over and over again, and that's kind of using almost the same arguments to debunk them time and time again. It's just the rhetoric changes, the premises change sometimes, but general idea is all the same, and it's kind of it's as if you're hearing the same thing all over again at that point. Yeah, those like ones when specifically to do with evolution of organisms and life and stuff like that in general, that might be interesting to know. At least if he has some good material that might be worthy. At least while I sculpt or do something, it could be nice to play in the background as well. So, and yeah, I mean, Ammonite is gonna be interesting to make the big one. It's definitely gonna be a cool piece. I think it might just be a standalone thing with maybe a base attached to the bottom so that it can have something to stand on. And yeah, would be nice. Parapuzusia. Parapuzusia. Okay. Is the stress on a zoo or something else? I haven't touched the Santanoraptor yet. The Thalassodromius is still in its blank, basically, shape form. I haven't touched on it for a while because I need to finish my steg, then I need to finish the lion. And then we will do the Thalassodromius and start sculpting a Santanoraptor, which is gonna be like a tiny thing like this, I presume. It's not gonna be massive, it's a small dinosaur, so not gonna be a big one. Optimus Prime, the torso of the steg and this part, basically the half of it is completed, that's all there is. So we've managed to basically get it done during this live stream. If you want, I can do another round of close-up, and at that point I'm gonna be saying my goodbyes because it's time to end the video. And it's an interesting note as well to end it because we've got a 7-7 on the screen again here, which is awesome. So let's just quickly do another roundup here and we will then call it a night. So there we go. Yeah, you get to see some of the less attractive parts of my room as well that way. Okay. Yeah, it's 67 now. Well, I mean 6 and 7. Anyways, bottled water. Right. Yeah, you could say that, I guess. No, 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 it's Maurice already. So reserve Steve for something else now. This is Maurice. It's already taken. You can reserve Steve for something else though. Yeah, I knew that someone's gonna be like, it's Maurice, it's not Steve. Anyway, guys, thanks y'all for watching, and I will definitely, sorry, yeah, I will definitely be back again with more stuff. Next week, hopefully, or by next week, we're going to do the tail sculpting. And if I finish the tail already, then we will do the painting and stuff like that. Maybe paint an Oviraptor or a Velociraptor versus Protoceratops by that time for my sponsor and client. So until then, thanks for watching. Take care, everybody, and ciao.